I'm Margaret Chen, and I'm 63 years old. For the last 37 years, I've run a business that I built from nothing. Flowers. Cut flowers, arrangements, event design, corporate installations. I started with $300 and a van in 1987 and built it into something real. A warehouse, a greenhouse, a shop on Main Street, employees who have worked with me for decades. Everything I have, I earned. And last month, I discovered that my sister has been stealing from me for 12 years. Not a small amount. Not something I could rationalize as a loan or a mistake. $380,000. I'm still processing that number. Welcome to Women's Worth Stories, where quiet women finally speak up. If you've ever trusted the wrong person or discovered betrayal came from someone you loved, you'll understand what happened to me. Subscribe and stay with me, because the moment I realized the truth was the moment everything changed. The beginning. My sister's name is Linda. She's 59. She's 2 years younger than me, but for most of our lives, she felt like the older sister. More confident, more outgoing, more everything. I was the quiet one who liked working with her hands. Our parents owned a restaurant in Sacramento. It was chaos. Loud, chaotic, beautiful chaos. My mother cooked. My father managed money poorly. They loved each other intensely and argued intensely, and somehow it all worked. Linda thrived in that environment. I didn't. When I was 26, I left. I took my $300 and I rented a small storefront in a strip mall in Folsom. I arranged flowers in that storefront for 12 hours a day. No employees, no payroll, no one but me. I made flower arrangements for weddings, funerals, corporate events, people who just needed something beautiful on their kitchen table. It took 3 years before I could afford to hire someone. Linda showed up when I was about 30 years old. Our parents had died by then, car accident, one moment and then they were gone. Linda was struggling. She had a job at a retail store making minimum wage. She'd been married once, divorced, was dating someone unsuitable, and just generally seemed lost. I remember her standing in my shop on a Tuesday afternoon. She just appeared. I hadn't seen her in 2 years. "I need a job," she said. Just like that. And I said yes. "This is important because it matters later." I said yes. The sister years. For 25 years, Linda worked with me. 25 years. She handled customer service, managed events, did deliveries, worked the front of the shop. She was good at it. She had the personality that I didn't have. Customers loved her. She was charming and funny, and she remembered people's names and birthdays, and she made people feel special. I was good at the flowers. She was good at the people. Together, we made something work. I never formalized things. That was mistake number 1. She wasn't an employee. She was family. We didn't have an employment contract. We didn't have a clear job description. We didn't have a defined salary structure. I paid her well, always. Whatever I made, essentially, we split. If the shop made $50,000 a year, she got $25,000. When it grew to $200,000 a year, she got $100,000. I trusted her. This is important. I trusted her completely. We traveled together. We were in each other's lives every single day for 25 years. She knew my passwords. She had access to my bank accounts because she paid vendors and managed inventory, and I trusted her. This is where the story gets complicated. I also gave her access to things she shouldn't have had access to. Years of access. Years of trust. Years of assuming that blood meant something. Then, around 2012, things started to shift. Slowly at first. Linda started having financial problems. A failed relationship. Her boyfriend had been helping pay her rent, and then he left. She mentioned needing to borrow money. Just a small loan, just temporary. I gave it to her. $15,000. She was going to pay me back. We agreed on it, but we never formalized it. We didn't write it down. We didn't set terms. It was just cash from my account to her account, and the understanding that she'd pay it back eventually. Eventually never came. But I didn't push it. She was my sister. She was struggling. What did it matter? I had money. She needed money. That's what family does. That's what I thought family did. Over the next few years, the loans continued. $8,000 in 2013. $12,000 in 2014. $5,500 in 2015. Each time she said she'd pay me back. Each time she didn't. Each time I told myself it was fine. She's family. If I can help, I should help. But something was shifting in me. Not anger, not yet. Just awareness. She had a job with me. She was making good money. Where was it all going? Why did she keep needing loans? I started asking questions. Linda, what's happening with your money? Just a rough patch. It'll get better. Are you okay? I'm fine. Just the divorce settlement, I'm paying my ex. These were answers, but they were also deflections. She didn't like being asked about her finances. She got defensive. I'm not a kid, Margaret. I can handle my own money. And I would back off because I don't like conflict. I'm not a confrontational person. I just back off. This was mistake number 2. The business grows. While Linda was struggling, the business was thriving. By 2015, we had opened a second location. By 2018, we had a greenhouse and a warehouse. By 2020, we were doing corporate work for tech companies, hospitals, law firms. The business was making significant money. Real money. Money that required actual business management. We needed an accountant. I hired one. His name was Michael. He was recommended by a friend. He came in quarterly to manage taxes, payroll, and general accounting. He was competent, but not particularly thorough. He would come in, look at the numbers, ask basic questions, and leave. I never questioned his work because I was busy doing the actual business. Making flowers, managing events, managing people. I left the numbers to him. This was mistake number 3. In 2020, during the pandemic, things got interesting. The flower business became essential. People couldn't gather, so flowers became how they expressed things. Grief, love, celebration, sorrow. We got slammed. We couldn't keep up with demand. Linda was working constantly. So was I. We were working 12-hour days, 6 days a week. We were exhausted. We were also making more money than we'd ever made. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I wasn't paying attention to the details. I was just working. In 2021, I finally had to step back. I was burned out. I told Linda I needed to take a month off. I wanted to travel. I wanted to rest. I wanted to remember what it was like to not smell like roses and greenery every single moment of my life. Of course, Linda said. You deserve a break. I can handle everything. I believed her. I had been believing her for 25 years. I took my month off. I went to New Zealand. I hiked, I read, I slept. I was alone with my own thoughts for the first time in decades. And I came back refreshed. But something had changed. When I came back, I was paying attention differently. Not suspiciously, not yet. Just noticing. I noticed that Linda seemed anxious when I asked to see the books. I noticed that she had new things, a new car, new clothes, jewelry I hadn't seen before. I noticed that when I asked her about finances, she changed the subject. I started asking questions again. Linda, how much do you have saved? I don't know, a lot. Why? Just curious. But I wasn't just curious. I was starting to wonder. I asked Michael about it. Michael, can you give me a full account statement for the business? Of course, he said. I'll pull the last year. He sent me a document. I looked at it, and something felt off. There were expenses I didn't recognize. Large cash withdrawals that didn't have explanations. Transfers to accounts I didn't know about. "Michael, what are these?" I asked. "Those are marked as owner distributions," he said. "Your sister has been taking them for years. She said you approved it." I felt something shift in my stomach. When did this start? 2012. She came to me and said you wanted to formalize her compensation. She wanted to be paid a percentage of profits instead of splitting revenue equally. I set up the system. She's been taking monthly draws ever since. 2012. The year of the first loan. "How much?" I asked. "Let me calculate that for you," Michael said. He sent me a number 3 days later. $380,000. Over 12 years. An average of about $31,000 a year. Some years more, some years less. But that was the total. $380,000 that I didn't know about. Money that came from a business I built. Money that was taken by my sister. Money that she told me was a loan that she would pay back. I remember the moment I saw that number. I remember the physical feeling of it. Like the ground had shifted. Like the one thing I had trusted in the world had broken. The realization. I sat at my desk for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't get angry. I just sat. I looked at the documentation. I traced through the transactions. I saw the pattern that I should have seen years ago. Linda would take large sums right before holidays. Right before back to school. Right when her car payment was due. Right when rent was coming up. It was systematic. It was planned. It was intentional. And it had been happening for a decade. I called my accountant back. "Michael, I need to know something. Did my sister have authorization from me to take these draws?" There was a pause. "She told me you approved it," he said slowly. "But now that you're asking, I realize I never saw that in writing. I just assumed she's your sister. You own the business together. She said you were okay with it." "We don't own the business together," I said quietly. "I own the business. She works for me." "Oh," Michael said. I didn't realize. I just assumed because you split the revenue." "It's fine," I said. "This isn't your fault, but I need everything. Every transaction, every documentation, every email, everything." He sent me files. Hundreds of them. I started reading through them. The emails where Linda had told Michael she wanted to set up owner distributions. The documentation she had created, forged, I realized, that supposedly authorized this. The way she had been gradually increasing the amounts, testing to see if I would notice. The way she had been covering her tracks by making sure the business was so profitable that the theft didn't seem to affect operations. The way she had been playing the long game. This wasn't a sudden crime of passion. This was premeditated, systematic financial theft from my own sister. From me. I sat with that for 3 days. I didn't confront her. I didn't say anything. I just gathered evidence. The gathering. I met with a forensic accountant named David. Not the same David from Rebecca's story, but someone similar. Someone who looked at financial crime for a living. I brought him everything. The bank statements, the emails, the forged documentation, the transaction history. He looked through it methodically. "This is clear," he said finally. "This is theft, systematic, documented theft. If you want to pursue this legally, we have a strong case." "I need to be sure," I said. "Before I do anything, I need to be absolutely certain." "You're certain," he said. "Look at this email. This is your sister telling me to set up a system where she can take funds without your knowledge or written approval. That's intent. That's consciousness of guilt." I nodded. I hired a lawyer. Her name was Patricia. She was a business litigation attorney, sharp and direct. "What do you want to happen?" she asked me. "I want the money back," I said. and I want her out of the business. We can do both, Patricia said. But I need to warn you, this will get ugly. She's your sister. If you sue her, it will be public. The family will be involved. People will choose sides. I know, I said. Do you? Patricia asked. Have you thought about what this will do? I had. I'd thought about it constantly for 3 days. The answer was yes. I knew what it would do. I also knew I couldn't not do it. I couldn't pretend I didn't know. I couldn't pretend it was okay. I couldn't keep working with someone who had stolen from me. The confrontation. I called Linda into my office. This was on a Friday. End of the day. Everyone else had gone home. It was just us. Linda, we need to talk about something, I said. She looked up from her phone. She was scrolling through something, didn't seem particularly concerned. Okay, she said, what's up? I've been looking at the business finances. Her posture changed immediately. Her face went very still. The distributor account that Michael set up for you, the monthly draws, the $380,000 that you've taken over the last 12 years. She stood up. Margaret, I can explain. I don't think you can, I said quietly. I've reviewed all the documentation. I've hired a forensic accountant. I've hired a lawyer. I'm clear on what happened and how it happened. She sat back down. How did you even find out? She asked. Not denying it, not apologizing, just asking how I found out. That answer told me everything. When I went back to look at my tax returns, I said, when I started actually paying attention instead of just trusting you. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, I needed the money. You made over $300,000 as my partner. You had a salary. You had benefits. You had everything. I wasn't getting paid as your partner, she said. I was getting paid as your employee. There's a difference. There is, I agreed. And that's your own fault. I offered to formalize your position years ago. You said you didn't want to. Because I didn't want it to feel transactional. But it is transactional, I said, and now you've made it criminal. She looked at me. I'm not pressing charges, I said, against my better judgment, but you're out. Out of the business, out of the money, and you're going to sign over whatever assets you have to repay what you took. I don't have $380,000. Then we'll work out a payment plan, I said. But Linda, I need you to understand something. I trusted you. I gave you access because I trusted you, and you used that access to steal from me. She stood up. You have no idea what it's been like, she said. Living in your shadow, watching you build something, watching you succeed while I just helped. You could have asked for more, I said. You could have negotiated. You could have asked for a percentage. You could have left and started your own business. I didn't want to do any of that, she said. I wanted this. You wanted to steal, I said. That's what you're saying. You didn't want to earn or negotiate or ask. You wanted to steal. She didn't answer. She just walked out. The legal process. The next 3 months were the most difficult of my life. The lawsuit was filed. Linda hired her own attorney. The case became public. Local news picked it up. Local business owner sues sister for theft. My employees found out. My customers found out. My friends found out. Some people sided with me. Some people sided with Linda. Some people disappeared because they didn't want to get involved. Linda's attorney tried to argue that she was a partner in the business and therefore entitled to the money. We countered with documentation showing she was an employee. She tried to argue that I had approved the draws verbally. We countered with emails showing that she had been deceptive about the setup. She tried to argue that the business was successful because of her work, so she was justified in taking money. We countered with business records showing that the flower arrangement and event design came from me, while she provided customer service. Neither was less important, but neither justified stealing. After 3 months, she agreed to a settlement. She would repay $250,000 over 5 years. She would resign from the business immediately. She would sign a non-compete agreement. She would have no claim to the business or its profits going forward. I agreed because I was exhausted. Because I couldn't keep living in the legal drama. Because I wanted my life back. Now. It's been 2 years since the settlement. I haven't seen Linda since that day in my office. I don't know where she is or what she's doing. She's been making the payments. $50,000 a year into my account. Every month, the automatic transfer appears. It's not a loan from a sister I love. It's restitution from someone who betrayed me. I've made peace with that. I've hired a new manager for the business, someone not related to me, someone with clear job responsibilities and a signed employment contract. The business is still thriving. I'm still making beautiful things. But something is different. I'm more careful now. I document everything. I don't give people access to things just because I trust them. Trust is not a business strategy. Documentation is. Clarity is. Contracts are. The hardest lesson I've learned is this: love and business don't mix. You can't run a business on trust alone. You can't manage finances on assumptions. You can't grow something meaningful with handshake agreements and family honor. If I could go back to 2012, I would tell myself, formalize everything. Write it down. Sign it. Be clear about expectations, responsibilities, and compensation. Don't assume that blood means someone won't hurt you. Don't assume that years of relationship protect you from betrayal. Protect yourself first, trust second. I spent 25 years helping my sister. I watched her grow up. I employed her. I mentored her. I gave her opportunities. And she spent 12 of those years stealing from me. The most painful part wasn't the money. It was realizing that I had misjudged someone fundamentally. It was realizing that I had been naive. It was realizing that the sister I thought I knew was someone else entirely. And I had to make a choice: protect the business I built or protect a relationship that wasn't what I thought it was. I chose the business. I chose myself. And I've never regretted that choice. The lesson. If you're watching this and you're in business with family, I want you to hear me. Formalize everything. Get contracts. Define roles. Set compensation clearly. Don't assume love means honesty. Don't assume years of history protect you. Don't assume that your family member won't hurt you. Assume the opposite. Assume that everyone is capable of betraying you. And then put systems in place to prevent that from happening. Don't be like me. Don't learn this lesson through $380,000 of stolen money and a broken relationship with your sister. Learn it from my story. Protect yourself. Trust your instincts. And when something feels wrong, investigate. Because I did, and I saved whatever was left of my sanity. But the cost was my relationship with my sister. Make sure you don't have to pay that price. That's my story. A woman who built something beautiful and then had to take it back from the person she trusted most. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're in business with family, go home today and have the conversation you've been avoiding. Formalize it.